unknowingly that do affect the environment in a negative way?
Thank you for that brilliant question, Mr. Ivan. Definitely, before I can even demystify about what we do intentionally or unintentionally, I believe that environmental conservation is supposed to be part and parcel of every individual, because it affects us, each and every one of us, whether you like it or not, and whether you're mindful about it or unmindful about it. So we are living in a world where there is deficiency of information, especially in very many aspects, and it is not unselective on the side of environmental conservation. We have a few people who are well informed about how to conserve the environment, and we have the majority of the Ugandans, for example, who don't know how to conserve the environment. Yet it affects us each and every single minute, each and every day. So look at the industries that we have in Uganda. And I remember just recently we've had a budget, and we have agro-industrialization being given a very high priority. Agro-industrialization is very instrumental in developing our country, Uganda. But then, however, you realize that if at all we don't practice green manufacturing and value addition, it has an adverse effect on our environment. The fumes that are produced by those industries, most of them are greenhouse gases which trap heat out there above in the atmosphere, which increases on the heat, on the temperatures on Earth. So that is something that is really adverse to us human beings. Secondly, you look at vehicles, the vehicles that we drive. You know, it's very pleasurable for every one of us to have a vehicle. But then we don't consider the fact that these vehicles, they burn fuel. And this fuel is made up of carbon. And this carbon forms carbon dioxide, you know, and this is a greenhouse gas. So you come out to realize that people in first world countries are now using electric engines, electronic engines, which depend on solar. They don't use fossil fuels such as the petrol we buy and everything. So you realize that for them, they are conserving their environment and they are mindful about it. And I love the fact that through different interventions, through the European Union, through the US Embassy, they are trying to make sure that they sensitize people in third world countries to also embrace this global agenda of environmental conservation, because it is very important. Coming to the issue of water quality, I'm an agriculture engineering student, but I'm not limited to just agriculture, also environmental engineering. We study about water quality. You realize that 81% of Ugandans cannot access quality water, safe water. And you find out that we have these people who help us wash our vehicles. They wash them in water bodies. And the soap, those disinfectants, move to the water. And we have to take that water later on. You get? You also realize that we are using pesticides and herbicides. When it rains, these herbicides are washed off, and through drainage systems, they later finish up in the water bodies. So all that reduces on the water quality, and it is also it impacts on our health as human beings. So you later on realize that God gave us an environment which is supposed to be self-sustaining in one way or the other. When you don't conserve it in one part, it will come back to you and affect you in another part.
Amazing. Coming to you, Degan, kindly paint for us the picture of climate change impacts here in Uganda, and living how it is today. How bad can it be if there are no remedies?
Well, when you talk about climate change, it has been as a result to very many attributes that we have contributed as human beings, our daily activities. Well, I'll look at the field of agriculture, whereby farmers depend on the rain, especially in Uganda. They can't afford the irrigation technology. They can't afford all the modernized technologies that are out there. They all depend on the rain. So with climate change, it's affecting our rainfall patterns, that they're really changing, and there is no food. Literally right now you can see that maize production has gone low. Like, people are looking for food currently. What is going to happen in the coming years if this has really turned out to be that there is no rain, or rain has really reduced to the least level that we can't afford to keep on with the rain-fed agriculture. Well, when I leave that aspect, we're seeing with the increasing temperatures, those increasing temperatures are really affecting people out there, especially in areas whereby they're really already affected by the northern parts of Uganda. They're really affected by temperatures, and these temperatures are killing the wild animals in the domestic parks we have in the country. This is reducing on our tourism capacity as a country if very many species that outside there are reduced. So I believe that when we talk about conservation, we should really take it as a strong call for everyone. Collective action should be done here, because if we lose the biodiversity, we lose the natural resources we have, the wetlands, we lose the swamps, we lose everything due to our activities that we are doing that are causing the climate change to become a really, really big issue in Uganda.
Okay, thank you so much. Coming to you, Derek, what is the role of the youth in as far as using clean energy, sustainable energy, and environmental conservation?
Thank you so much for that wonderful question. That question actually speaks to me as a youth, but it also speaks...
Actually, you should be saying what your role is.
Yes, what my role is as a youth.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not a selfish person, and I've had an opportunity of being in an organization, the Joint Energy and Environmental Projects Organization. It trains us of how we can use energy resources more sustainably and more efficiently. This is something that I wish that every youth out there gets to know about, how we can use energy in a more sustainable way. That's why we've come up with this campaign. We thank you so much that you've joined us. At Makera University, we are organizing an energy and environmental sustainability run where we envision to sensitize our fellow youth, because we believe that Makera University is made up of students that come from different parts of this world and Uganda as well, students from different backgrounds and walks of lives. And you know, these students are really believed in where they come from. So these are students who are going to be ambassadors of change, climate change mitigation, and efficient energy resource use and environmental conservation. So we organize this run and awareness week in a bid to make sure that we get partners. For example, I've told you about Jeep, which are going to come on during the awareness week to train the youth of how to use and harness these different energy resources. Energy resources like Dagan talked about. We have cooking baskets, we have energy saving stoves. You know, you realize that when the youth are trained on how to even manufacture these stoves, it creates employment opportunities. You know, that is what we call climate and environment entrepreneurship. Instead of having this outcry of unemployment, if we have youth who have been motivated and have been trained about how to make these stoves, how to make briquettes, you know, and how to make all these other energy resources, you know, it can remove the unemployment. It reduces it in one way or the other. So, coming back to your question, me as a youth, what I can do, number one, is to learn, is to allow to be trained, because I believe there are specialists who have learned these things. So, me giving out myself, availing myself to learn, and also not being a selfish person, spreading the information. You know, I come from Tungamo district. When I go back to Tungamo district, my mom is from Ruchiga district. When I go back to Ruchiga district, I tell these people on how to use energy more sustainably, you know. So learning here at Makera University and going out there, spreading the information, because I'm an ambassador from Makera University to where I come from. So that is the most pertinent role a youth can play.
Dagan, coming to you, we understand that the youth are over 77% of the population here in Uganda. So if you are to front the campaign for as far as conserving the environment and using sustainable energies, definitely we cannot leave out that population. And even when it comes to the destruction of the environment and nature, we understand that population will be not left out. The population is growing. People want to carry out agriculture to get what to eat. People want to make money. how do we make sure that all the activities we are going to carry out to empower ourselves as young people, talk about farming and engaging in technology, whatever we are going to use is going to be environmental friendly?
Well, coming to that point, I really see it's a very, very good question that people outside that really want to practice all they would practice without degrading the environment. Well, we would look at people using other alternatives. We have measures like agroforestry. People can carry out that agroforestry. People can carry out use of recycling, plastic recycling. People can carry out very many activities that they can engage in that are less like organic farming, sustainable farming. There are a lot of people can still participate in agriculture in a sustainable manner, in a sustainable way for the future generations. Because we need to eat. We need to eat. It's a daily activity that we can't forego. So with this, we can keep on going with conservation agriculture and in a sustainable way that we can still eat without affecting the environment.
Amazing. Basically, when you talk about, using methods that really do protect the environment, I'm glad that I've been engaging a group of young people who are doing fish farming in wetlands. As other people are destroying wetlands, constructing in wetlands and stuff, this group of young people is just doing fish growing in a way that protects the environment, but when you go there you will find bird species and other animals that live around. They didn't live when they started carrying out their activities. Why? They did something in a way that still protects the environment, and that speaks a lot on all the activities that you do. How do you keep doing what you're doing to earn a livelihood? Because we want to be real. We understand you have to survive, you have to make some money, but how do you make money at the same time making sure that you are protecting the environment? So coming to the institutions of learning, what do you do in your institutions of learning to make sure that you help your other fellow youths understand the importance of conserving the environment? Derek.
Thank you so much. That question is very important. And to inform you, you've not asked, but I would like to chip it in. We are celebrating 100 years as Makera University, and I am so proud. Makera University has produced quite a number of alumni. We've produced heads of states, we've produced executive directors, we've groomed this world, not just Uganda, but even globally. And we are so proud of that. So at Makera University, we have helped our fellow youth through organizing conferences. Because we believe every person at the heel of Makera University is an intellectual in one way or the other. And it all starts with feeding information to someone. That is the first thing. So we partner with acclaimed media companies like this very own media company. We partner with environmental organizations. For example, the Joint Energy and Environmental Programs Organization. We partner with GGI. Like, there are very many organizations that really would love to work with Makera University as an established institution to make sure that they instill and they ingrain the information of climate change mitigation, environmental conservation, and sustainable energy resource to every student of Makera University. And I believe this is the same kind of manner that is being spread in other institutions of learning, because it is the healthy way to go. If you feed the youth with the information, the youth are the ones who are going to shape the future. So it's laying a strong foundation for the youth. So it's through conferences, advocacy, action-oriented interaction with the students. That is how we are doing that.
From Derek's submission, do you think the approach as far as the government is concerned, NGOs are concerned, do you think the approach they are using as far as environmental conservation and using of sustainable energies is concerned, right? Or what do you think, if you don't think it's right, what do you think should be done?
Well, I would think that the approach that my colleague Derek is from talking about is very right, because with all this that we're working in, because we're trying to make sure people knowledge reaches down to people about climate mitigation. But how can the knowledge reach down to people about climate mitigation? It all starts with the people you have at hand, especially with people in institutions like learning institutions. They're easier to approach and easier to teach. After teaching them and giving them the information, then they can break it down to other people outside that in a way they can understand it. It's the first way to go. Then later you can go on influencing people to participate in this, to take part in this, because it's a collective action. You can't do it alone. The environment is something you can't protect alone. It needs collective action. It needs people from all dimensions to participate in this, whether an engineer, whether a doctor, whether it needs a collective action. So I believe that is the way to go. And well, as with our policies, the government should really enforce them so much, should really push all the organizations and all other institutes that are in the same call of environmental conservation and energy sustainability. They should give them a space, and they should give them support in everything that to do, especially with the people they are working out with in rural areas. People still back there still need a lot of knowledge. Well, they really need a lot of knowledge with what is going on. Very many people are seeing factors that are happening, that environmental effects, but they don't know what is the cause and how they can protect the environment. But once we reach out there, down there to the people, they would really be on the same page with us.
So basically you look at the information gap that is there. Someone, like we said, is destroying the environment, but they are unaware that they are doing that, because you will imagine that you're going to cut trees in a forest because you want to do farming. But then after cutting the trees, you will do 2 seasons, you still have the rain. But then after the 2 seasons, you fail to get the rain. Why? You cut down the trees to plant your crops, but not understanding that when you cut down the trees, you will not have the rain to grow your crops. So basically, I think it's an information gap and lack of knowledge as far as protecting the environment, but also the impact of climate change. So Dagan, what are some of those activities that students in institutions of learning can be able to carry out to be able to conserve the environment?
Well, I'm going to give a reference of Makera University, since we're celebrating 100 years of transforming societies. I believe it's a transformed society, and already dealing with students that are already transformed. Well, students here always advocate, most of them, to use maybe gas. They normally use briquettes for cooking than using the normal, maybe using the normal charcoal stove they could have used to cook. We always advise them to use electricity in a conservative way. If it's on, if it's during day, switch it off. If it's night, switch it on. Yeah, like that. Then we also advise them to participate in tree planting programs around Kampala. You've seen them in Entebbe and Wakiso participating in planting trees in Kazi. You've seen them participating around Kampala with tree plantation activities. And most of them are also engaging into urban farming than in large-scale farming that they may not manage, basically. Yeah.
So if I'm a young person just up country, I'm in Karamoja, I'm in Chisoro, and I feel I have passion to be to engage myself in as far as conserving the environment is concerned.
Yes.
What can I do? Where do I get started from?
Yeah, surely. Thank you for that question. Well, just like we've said before, that you cannot conserve the environment alone, and these issues of environment conservation affect each and every one of us. So we are not limited to just the privileged youth, I can say, the ones who are in higher institutions of learning. We believe that all of us have a share in this call for action. However much you are in Karamoja, however much you are in Kapchora, however much you are in Kitgum, however much you are in Chisoro, just like my brother has said, I believe there is something that you can do. The first step could be, personally, look around for NGOs, organizations that believe in environmental conservation. The NGO that I subscribe to, the Joint Energy and Environmental Projects Organization, they usually have field trips. They go to Kitgum, they go to northern Uganda, they go to eastern. They have traversed the whole of Uganda, and they have ambassadors in almost each and every district. So I really feel like, because if I told you to conserve the environment and you have that conviction, you need a group of people who have the same conviction as you. That's why it is very important for you to look out for an organization, and there are many in our localities. Apart from that, you can also start sensitizing the youth. If you've had the chance of watching this program, I believe you're not the same at this point. You at least have some information about what is going on around the world in terms of environmental degradation. Start sensitizing your fellow youth. You never know, the people that you're sensitizing know where you can find organizations that can support you further. Also, apart from that, you can practice urban farming. You can practice farming in a way that does not degrade the environment. That is also very, very important. So in all ways, there is no excuse. Everyone has a share in this call of action. Regardless of your place of jurisdiction, you have a contribution that you can put to this global and national agenda of environmental conservation.
Amazing. So as a young person out there, this is a call out for you. What can you be able to do where you are living out, going to organizations and stuff? You individually, what role are you playing to make sure that you conserve the environment? When you're at home and you're doing, dishes, do you just leave the water flowing after you're done washing? You should be able to close the tap to make sure that you conserve the water. When you're going to sleep, do you switch off the lights? In the morning, do you remember to make sure that you put off the security lights? You're saving the electricity. But also the other activities that you do as a young person. If it's farming, do you do it in a way that is really going to save the environment? When you're moving out there, are you the person that will use a cavera and then throw it away just for it to go and block the trenches that take the waters? Are you the person that will take a bottle of water and then after throw the bottle away just anyhowly, not disposing it to the dustbin? And that is going to take over 400 years for a polythene bag to be able to decompose. So if you're a young person out there, before you look at all these big things that you're doing, look at your daily behaviors. What do you do that destroys the environment? The burning of the veras, the burning of the kasasiro, all that destroys the environment. So start from where you are. That cavera that you're going to use, that bottle that you're going to use, dispose them rightly, and then use the energies sustainably, as we talked about the electricity, the water, and all the rest, to make sure that you save your environment. You save the environment is going to save you, as we talk about sustainability. So as we conclude, what message do you have for a young person out there?
Let us be custodians of guidance. Let us allow to be guided, and let us guide other people such that we can be in a very good transformed society.
Amazing. Dagan?
Well, my last words to the people outside there watching this program, I would say actions speak, as the saying goes, that actions speak louder than words. I believe that if we start practicing on all of these activities we're talking about, then it would make more sense than keeping on saying the same thing about climate change mitigation without action being taken on.
I thank you so much for watching Youth of Purpose. I believe you have been able to learn a thing or two as far as protecting the environment is concerned, but also how you can be able to use sustainable energies to make sure that you protect the environment. As a young person out there, today as I talk, get a group of your 5-10 young people, clean the environment that you're living in, clean your town, and start with that. If it's about planting trees, you have a garden, you have a town garden, move to your town councils, to the cities, and request to do a garden. Have a youth garden in your own area. I thank you so much for watching Youth of Purpose. My name is Ivan Tumkunde. Follow me on all my socials. On Twitter, I_Tumkunde. I Tumukundi on Instagram and Ivan Tumukundi on Facebook. I thank you so much for watching this show. I hope you'll be transformed. See you next time. Bye-bye.
Youth of Purpose.